Hi and welcome back once again to my channel. My name is Joshua from Tag, and in today's video we would learn the practical aspect of the video series we had in my previous teaching on data types in our programming. And the first we will start with is the practical section on vector. So I'm going to do it in bits for the sake of providing clear understanding to every of my viewers. So this is a typical RStudio platform, and by now we know to open a new script, go to new file, and then we'll click on our script. So it opens for us, and quickly in this part of the practical section we will learn how to create variable again. Create variable using vector function. We would also learn how to combine or add to variable using vector function. So let's start with creating a variable. If you watch my previous video on this, I want to believe by now everything I'll be saying here would look very simple, but for the benefit of those just starting at this particular level, I will do this and I will still advise you to watch the previous video. So to create a variable, it's so simple. So the example I'm going to use here would just revolve around like an academic environment where we have a lecturer, myself, and I have some students in which I have their scores in a test they did. So I'm going to say scores. This is the variable name, and I'll use this assignment operator, and I would advise we use more of these and less of the equal to. So the first person had 12 in this test I did, and this is very easy to program. So but in a case where we have more than one student and you want to program their score into a variable, if you do it this way, definitely you will find yourself in some kind of error, and that is to tell you that arrow do not understand what you are doing. So your intention is to bind them together, to combine them into that object scores as a variable. So to do this, you introduce the vector function, and so to use the vector function in arrow you put C, and so when you introduce this concept of vector, all you need to do next is to put the values you want to store in the variable as the arguments. So I want 12, and the next person over 20 had 17. So if I run this, I have on the global environment, I have my score as numeric, having 2 observations, and these values, the elements are 12 and 17. So you can add to it, and this is one of the things you want to learn here today. But I will leave the concept of adding to some meanings to this time. Let's talk about another way again of creating a variable, and we would also, as we are doing this, we would also see how you can create empty variable, and from this empty variable we update them to create the kind of variable we are interested in having. So the first one we'll do is to create a numeric empty variable, and I'm going to say scores again. I'm using scores all the time, so I could say score 1, and then I have it this way. So I could say numeric, I want 5 scores, 5 empty scores, and I'm storing the results in the variable called score1. That's what the code is all about. So if I run this, if you check the global environment again, you will see we have 5 empty numeric values. So that is one of the way to create empty variables in R. So now I want to update it with values, the values representing the scores of the students I have in my class. So I will use this function data.entry from the utils package, and then I will supply the variable as the only argument to this function. So if I run this, look at what will happen. This dialog box pops out, and then very easy, just go into it and fill in the scores. So this is quite interesting when it has to do with small data sets and at times you could use this concept. We'll talk about it maybe with editing and some other things. You can also use this particular concept when it has to do with small data set. So you can feel it. The first person had 12, the next has 15, the next had a poor score 9, and this person has 12, and the last person had a very poor score 3/20. So when you get to the level of 5, then you can close, check your global environment. You see that the value is already updated. So we can do this for numeric as well as character. So for character, all you need to do is to say let's say names underscore students, and then I will say character, and so I want 5 empty characters. So if I run this, check the global environment, you would see names underscore students now have like 5 empty characters. So what I'm going to do again is I'll use that data.entry, and then I put names underscore students. So easily I can run this, and I'm expecting to have this dialog box again. So here I just have to put names of students. I could say Josh, I could say Giordano, I could say Giordano, I could say Chirag, I could say James, and finally I could say Johnson. So when I close this, when you check the global environment, the names of this particular friends of mine are already added to the variable called names underscore students. So to see the results, you can always use the print function, and then you say names underscore students. If you run this, you will see the result on the global environment. So the same way we have done for numeric character, we can also do it for logical. So here I'm going to say let's say sex, and if it is male, put true. If it is female, if it is not male, put false. If it is male, put true. If it is not, just so here I'm going to say logical, and then I want 5 of it, and then I run this. So if I check sex, I have sex as values of false or true. You can check, you can just press sex and run it. You have everything false or true. So if you take your mind back to that point in some of my previous videos where I talked about the concept of relational operators in R and logical operators. So at that point I talked about the usage of 0 and 1, 0 for false in R and 1 or anything that is non-zero value for true. So in this case, if I am to update what I have from the normal false that I have, I could easily use that data.entry again function from the UTs package, and then the argument I'm just going to include will be the sex, and if I run this, you would see what I'm saying, 0 as false and 1 as true. So what I'm going to do here is, I've told us if it is true, that is we record a male, otherwise false, that is female, and here it is true that the guy is a male, and then we have male. So when I close this, check the global environment, the value changed from false or true now to 1 0 1 1 0, which is true, false, true, true, false. Now it is having the class of numeric. I can change the class. I won't do more about coercion here, but I will just give us an example. So I can say as.logical, and then I put sex into it as the only argument to the function. So if I run this as.logical, look at what will happen. And so it prints it out as the way I would have wanted to see it. So this is true, and here we have false, true, true, and false. So that is that about how you can add variables, create variables in R, and how you can actually use this concept that I've described to create numeric, character variable, and logical variable. So the next thing, which will be the last thing I will do in this video, is how we can combine or add variable using a vector function. So we have an existing variable here as scores and scores1. So how do we add these variables together? So what I would do is to say score underscore comb, the combined score, and so I would just say C and then open a bracket and put the variable name scores and add it to scores1. So if I do this, check the global environment, I have score none. So you can easily do this. You can select what we have here and then run it, Ctrl Enter. So I don't want to waste much time writing score underscore combination again. So I select that part of the code and you can press Ctrl Enter. So it prints out this result as the combination of these 12, 17, 12, 15, 9, 12 and 13 as it is here. So that is one way to combine. So let's take, for instance, I want to add to this variable called scores. So I'm adding to an existing variable. So I could do it this way. I can say I am still giving it that name scores, and this concept is seen as overwriting in R. So and then I can say C, the same procedure. Then I would say scores, I'll say scores, and then I am adding 5 and 10 to it. So if I run this, look at what will happen. I have 5 and 10. So it is also possible, and I want us to get used to this particular style. So if I say scores, because we are dealing with vector here, so I want to use a vector. I want to combine a vector inside a vector. So I would say 4 and 1. Look at what will happen. So I have it again updated, and the value is now 12, 17, 5, 10, 4 and 1 for the variable scores. Now, why do you think I have to introduce and stress the fact that we should always use that convention? We will see it as we proceed. So there is a function called append from the base package. So we can also use this function anytime we're interested in combining or adding to an existing variable in R. So look at it. You are going to say, let me use an example. Let me create a new variable. Let me delete everything we have here, or let me leave it. Let's clear it. Let's clear it so we can have. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll say all over again. I'll say scores, and I will create a simple score. I'll say C 1, 5, 2, and then I run this. So here I have scores numeric 1 to 3, and then the values are 1, 5 and 2. So I want to add to scores. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll still use that concept of overwrite. So that is, I'm creating a new variable. I'm giving it the same name. So the moment I give it this same name, what I'm doing is I'm overwriting. So this becomes the new name, and then this becomes automatically the old name. So what I'm using here is the function called append from the base package, you can see, and then the values it takes as its arguments are the variable that is existing that you want to add to, which is scores, and the next thing you would do is to put the values that you want to add to it. So and then you can say, let's say I'm adding 5 to it. So you could see 1, 5, 2, 5. Now let's say let me copy this entire code and paste it down. Look at what will happen. Let's say I want to add 3 and 4 to this existing variable scores. Look at what will happen on the global environment. So when I run this, it is only 3 that was added. So 4 is out. I won't want to go more to adding more argument, but why I'm doing this is to stress the importance of the vector inside vector that we have in line 21. So if you want both 3 and 4 to be added to it, all you need to do is to introduce that vector inside vector again, and then if you run it, you would see the 3 and 4 has been added successfully to the existing variable course. So I want to believe we've learned a lot from this tutorial, and for those that are joining for the first time, I would encourage us to please subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell to be the first person to receive news of any of my new videos. On this note, I want to say a big thank you to you for your time and choosing to learn R with me. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye.